Hello, welcome back to the Fanteam Focus live show. We'll be picking the monster team for this week. We actually won some money last week, so that's pretty good. I'm here with Jack and Shaun as well. Boys, how are we doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Not too bad. Sean, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Been a good break from the football really for the last couple of weeks. So yeah, looking forward to getting back into it and seeing what state my teams are in the season long as well.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at my season-long teams. I've got them up actually on the tabs here, so maybe we'll talk about those after we've done the monster, because I haven't looked at my fan team yet. I've got to be honest with you. Okay, interesting. So let's go for it. Like last week, we say last week, like Sean alluded to. It's been a while since we've had some football, let alone monsters. But we were in the cash, right? I know me and you were, Jack, right? I'm not sure about Sean.
Yeah.
I think that's the second time in a row for me.
I was
Flying.
sitting in like 19th spot at one point. I was getting very excited, and then a couple of results didn't go my way, but I still cashed. So profit is profit, as we say.
Happy days. So we'll try and do the same for any of you guys watching. We'll try and pick a winning team again. Not that we won £1 million or anything, but we made a bit of money. We made a bit of cash, didn't we? So link in the description as always. If you're not involved in Fanteam yet and you want to give it a go, check that out. Jack, I'll come to you first. You said you've had a little luck and you saw some cheap Leicester players that caught your eye because you don't like the Man United defence or something for some reason. What's going on there?
So we had it similar, didn't we, the other week, where the Tottenham players were far too cheap. I can't remember who Tottenham were playing in that week, but
I think it was Man City, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they were far too cheap. Like Kane was like what 7.5 million or something like that, and it's just too cheap. He can, like, if he gets a chance, he'll score. But you've got Inacho is 6.9 million. The midfielders Madison, Barnes, Tillemans, they're all seven. They range from 7.6 million all the way down to 6.8 million. So I fancy them against Man United to score at least one goal. And I just don't trust Man United. I wouldn't be surprised if Leicester got a result in that game. Put it that way. So I'd like the assets from Leicester at the price, not defensively but attacking.
What do you think about that, Sean? The first thing that I thought of is kick-off times, right? Because I don't know. It's Madison seems to be like injured half the time. Harvey Barnes maybe, like Jack mentioned, could be the way to go. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think obviously it's the tea time kickoff on Saturday, isn't it?
5:30.
And I think there was a bit knocking about today about there's a video. I think Barnes had his ankle strapped in a video or something. But you've got Madison, Barnes, and Tielemans in that order in terms of the safety net, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I think I would potentially be looking to sort of double up in terms of having one from each team in this game, because I know Leicester are getting a few players back defensively, but they've not looked great this season. So I wouldn't be adverse to having sort of a Man U attacker and a Leicester attacker as well. Sort of, yes, you don't get the points for the win if it goes either way, but I think there'll be goals.
Agreed.
I definitely agree with the Man United side of it. You're going to struggle to convince me to back against my own team, which probably when you're betting and stuff like that, they say just don't involve your own team, right? Don't even bet against your own team. Don't bet for them. But I digress. I could definitely, obviously, get behind the Man United players. Is there anyone to look for other than Bruno and Ronaldo, do you think, Jack, in the United side? If you had to pick one.
I would certainly have interest in Pogba if he plays, and if I don't know if he's fit at the minute. But you get the odd assist from Pogba. He started the season on fire before he got injured. So yeah, that would be the route I would go. Pogba out of the rest of them there. Maybe you like Fred, don't you? I know that, Rhys. So.
I do like him. I don't think I'd ever pick him in a fantasy game, but he's like a meme, isn't he? He's just one of these players you don't expect him to be good, but when he pops up with like something like 8 assists in the past 8 games or whatever he's probably got, then it becomes quite funny, doesn't it? What do you think, Sean? I want to put Ronaldo in. Am I crazy?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this, I've just looked at the stats since the last international break, so it's been about 6 or 7 weeks. only Salah's had more shots than Ronaldo per 90 minutes in that period. So yeah, he definitely is one to consider. I think I'd rather go Bruno just because I think I had a quick look at the prices earlier, and I think for me, Kane's a definite this week that you want playing at home to Newcastle. And I just think that there are better, cheaper options, I think, attacking wise, to fill the other two slots. So I think I'd rather go for Kane, a couple of budget strikers, and then have Bruno as a midfielder, I would say. That'd be
Bruno's very expensive, isn't he? 13.1 million.
Yeah, he's more expensive than Ronaldo, only by a couple of point millions. But
I mean, I suppose he would benefit from a clean sheet, but like we said, I don't really know if that's that likely anyway. But
no,
I think if you go that route, you're going to find it hard to get one of them City assets in. I know we're not onto that game yet, but I'd certainly want part of that City midfield against Burnley, who they destroy on a regular basis. Man City.
I think we've gone long enough now without talking about Man City, right? Because I agree with you. That is the standout fixture for me, Man City Burnley, in terms of you want to get those Man City attackers, and it's the perfect platform to get the Man City attackers. You've got the 3:00 kickoff. You can pick whoever you want, right? Does that excite you as well?
This week's great, isn't it? So we've got 5 games at the 3:00 kickoff time for this monster, so we can see all of those lineups, 10 sets of lineups there, before kickoff, before we pick our monsters, actually finalise it. But yeah, I want something from that City midfield, and the great thing is with the monster is we've got the safety net as well. So Pep will obviously do his Pep roulette at some point, but as long as we sort of, I don't know, get one of the middle guys in, maybe put in De Bruyne or Foden over Mahrez and Sterling, then you're guaranteed the safety net of the Silva and Grealish there as well, aren't you? So
yeah, I guess you just whack them in, isn't it, Sean? Just whack them in and then check it at 2:00 on Saturday. Check who's playing, because there's no point in thinking too much about it until you know who's playing, right? Yeah. Because there could be so many rests with the games they got coming up.
I think you put a placeholder in effectively, don't you? And then if you do, for whatever reason, forget or you don't get time to put it, at least you've got a decent option.
Yeah.
Definitely agreed.
I agree with that. This team's getting quite expensive already. So, but Chelsea Brentford is another one that stands out. Do you think?
I think obviously we get to see the team again, so there's a bit of will Rhys James start? He's obviously defensively, I'd say he's the best asset because you get the clean sheet. Rudiger's more nailed, but attacking upside, obviously Rhys James is probably up there in terms of the best fullbacks in the league. I just got a sneaking suspicion that Brentford are going to score. I think they've looked a bit better recently. I think Eriksen, I brought him into my FPL team, Gameweek 30, and then he got COVID, which is always fun, but he scored twice in the international break for Denmark. I don't know why, I just fancy Brentford will score.
Tony's playing better.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely one I'm looking at just because you're guaranteed 3 points. Obviously, you might lose 0.3 if they lose, but I think you're guaranteed 3 with him because he'll play the 90 and he'll often have a shot on target at least. So he's going to get 3 points minimum and he's on penalties and stuff. So, and I think he's like one of the cheapest strikers this week, isn't he?
He's 6.4 million.
I think he's got to go in at that price, isn't he, Tony?
Yeah.
But then you're backing against the clean.
I think that
against a clean sheet.
I think you have to. I think you have to then. If you go for Tony, you have to back against the Chelsea clean sheet, don't you? Just like one goal, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's good, such good value though, and such a good Fanteam asset that we've spoken about so many times, right, week in, week out. Interesting. So that's left my team in particular. I know we're kind of debating the positions here, but ultimately it is my team, guys, my choice, right? So that's left my team, Ronaldo, Kane, Tony up front, and 2 City mids, so Sterling, Mahrez. So it's looking, now we got Tony in, it's looking a little bit more balanced, but we need to look at the back, right? Let's look at the fixtures so I can get your guys' thoughts on the defence in terms of clean sheets, where they're going to come. Jack, what do you think, right? So straight away, Wolves, Villa, clean sheet or?
Yeah, I think Villa will keep clean sheet.
Yeah.
I actually have. I know. To be honest, Josh might have talked me into this earlier, but Martinez is really cheap as a goalkeeping option this week. The only problem is he's going up against Wolves, who don't actually attack a lot anyway.
So you don't get many saves.
So he's not going to get a lot of saves, but I quite fancy Villa to keep a clean sheet in that game. And he's a cheap goalkeeping option this week. I think he's like 7.8 million, if I remember.
Yeah, 7.6.
7.6 million, so that's cheap. Like, he's on page 2 there. So yeah, I like that game for a clean sheet, but I prefer it on the Villa side. I like Villa going forward as well. I certainly want, when we do our stacking stuff, like we've mentioned before, I'd certainly have the goalkeeping stack with Martinez and probably get Coutinho or Ramsey and maybe Watkins, who scored for England the other night.
What do you think, Shaun? That I think I agree with Jack in terms of the Aston Villa clean sheet. Another two which jump out to me, if we ignore the Chelsea one, are Man City and Brighton. What do you think?
I mean, the team I built earlier, I've gone very much. I can't think what Jack calls it in the golf one. Is it like stars and scrubs? So I've got sort of five premiums, and then I've got 6 dirt cheap players. So in terms of defence, I've got Cancelo, because I just think against Burnley, attacking, he's for me, he's the player of the defensive player of the year, I'd say.
Especially in Fanteam, right?
So attacking. Yeah. So attacking. So I'd go for him in defence. He'd be the only premium I'd go for. I'd go for a cheap keeper, just because we know there's never much between the keepers. So yeah, Ederson might keep a clean sheet, but he's 11.8 million. So he'll probably get 2 points for appearance, 4 for the clean sheet, might make a save or 2, so 7 points. So 7.3 you might do if they win. Whereas you could get someone like Martinez, like Jack said, he's 4.2 million cheaper, and he's probably going to make, I don't know, maybe not Martinez against Wolves, but someone like that, a bit cheaper, make a lot more saves, and you're probably going to make 4 or 5 points anyway, and you're going to save a lot of money that could be used elsewhere. I've gone for Gaeta as the keeper that I've chosen.
6.7 million.
Just because I like having I like having a player in the last game of the game of the week, just so it feels like you still might climb at some point. But again, since the international break, you've got the 3 best defences, obviously, Man City, Chelsea and Liverpool. But then the next, in terms of expected goals conceded, you've got Villa and Crystal Palace are next. So I just think I'd fancy taking a bit of a punt on him, really, just for the price. And they've looked okay, and they're at home. So I've gone for him. And I've gone against Villa. I've gone double Wolves at the back, just because they've just been so good all season. I just think they're cheap. And they've always, I know the last couple of games have been a bit more open-ended, but I just feel like 13 million, I'm always getting 2 Wolves defenders for the price of 1 Cancelo. And I think the money could be used further up the field for a bit bigger premiums.
That's interesting. I like what you said about Crystal Palace. I've spotted that as well in terms of the underlying numbers for the season. They are up there, aren't they? Similar to kind of what Brighton was doing last season. And it offers good value. In terms of Wolves, I don't know if I can get behind that one. So Connor Cody 7 million, Sice 6.9. I know he's 6.8.
I've gone for Johnny 6.4. He's the last few. I mean, obviously you'll know that he's playing because it's a 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. But the last few, he scored, I think, against Leeds, didn't he? Before, obviously, they capitulated in the second half. But since he's come back into the team, just looking at his points, he's scored last 3 games 6.3, 6.3, 7.3. So he's averaging about 7 points a game in the last 3 since he's come back in the team. So I just think in a team that's usually defensively quite sound, I think worth doubling up. And
yeah, he has done really well, hasn't he? Scoring goals and assists as well, maybe, I think. What about Matty Cash? 7.4 million.
Yeah, that's where I would go. Matty Cash and Martin. I would do the double up with Martinez and Matty Cash, personally.
Yeah. I think
I've not been impressed with the Wolves at all going forward, and Jimenez is, just I think people need to stop trying to make him a thing in fantasy at the minute, because he's just not a thing.
Wolves going forward aren't good. I mean, that
No.
they've scored 4 against Watford, but it's Watford,
That's
Yeah.
Watford,
and they scored 2 against Leeds, and again, Leeds aren't the best defensively, and they only scored 1 against Everton. So they just score a lot of goals against half decent defences, which Villa are. But I think it could be a low scoring game.
Yep.
Yeah. I think you twisted me into Martinez and goal then, Jack. I got Martinez and the cash double up. So cheeky stack there. I've gone for Mitchell for the Crystal Palace. Punt, you could probably call it because they're playing Arsenal. And I've got 2 spaces left. Not quite sold on Wolves, not dead against it, just not quite sold on them yet. I got Cancelo in there. Great, you made a great case for that one, Shawnee. And yeah, and I've got the 2 City mids and the 3 boys up front. That leaves me with 11.9 million. And what's that? Is that 2 positions? 2 positions left. So it's not a bad position to be in. How did you find picking your team earlier, Sean? Did you find it easy in terms of price or difficult?
I went through. I definitely wanted Kane, so he was straight in. Same with Cancelo. I wanted a Man City midfielder, and I've gone for Mahrez at the minute. Just because I think if he starts, he always looks really threatening. I think he's a bit like I said earlier with Ronaldo with the shots. I think Mahrez is 3rd on that list per 90. So if he starts, I think he'll look really good. So they were sort of my 3 attacking premiums, so to speak, in Cancelo. And then it was a case of filling in the gaps. I think Tony, as we've discussed, I think he's just a solid pick most weeks on penalties. So at 6.4, if he scores, brilliant. If he doesn't, you'll still get your 3 odd points in there. So then just had to get really one more premium and a couple of cheaper options. So I do fancy Tottenham to win well against Newcastle at home. So I've doubled up with Son in midfield. I think he's looked really good recently. He's the same price as Kane, pretty much.
Yeah, he has looked good.
So I like that as a double up. It just means I've only got a little bit of money left for another striker or a midfielder. So, but I think 5 premiums of Bruno, Son, Kane, Mahrez, and Cancelo is decent.
That sounds pretty exciting to me, to be honest. You talked about shots per 90 there, Sean, and I put a TikTok thing about shots per 90 out. I think it was earlier on today, actually, or maybe it was last night. I noticed Joe Gelhardt was up there in like the top 10. Did you see him on there? Maybe you filtered out by appearances or something, but
I think I did it by minute, so he might have come out of it. But yeah, he's looked really good since he's come on, hasn't he? It's just will he get the start? Because Bamford obviously was back, but I think he's out again now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's out again.
So it just depends if he actually starts. Gelhardt, I'd like to see him start. But yeah, it's just the minutes. But will we see we'll see the team, won't we? So
Leeds, Southampton, yeah. So it's interesting. I think he was in the top 10, but I filtered by appearance. So shots per 90 with at least 10 appearances. So he's probably had like 10 1-minute appearances off the bench, isn't he? So maybe it's not a true reflection of the shots per 90, if that makes sense. But it was an interesting one. But yeah, like I noticed Mahrez up there, for example, which is interesting. Salah obviously top. Mane, I think, as well, right, is up there. Sure. Okay, so Jack, I got 2 positions left, right? What have I done here? I've resized the thing. Let me change. What's happened here?
You haven't reset the whole thing, have you?
No, I just resized the window on the. Too many things going on. Okay, 2 positions left. 11.9 million. I kind of like the team as it is. I think the defensive options I got are decent, right? They're cheap and they got a good chance of a clean sheet. And the attacking guys I got really good fixtures. So you got your Man Cities, your Ronaldos, your Kanes. Tony is probably the left field pick. So I got a couple of middle price kind of players I need, like 5-6 million defense / midfield. Is anyone popping out to you?
I'm just looking through now. I mean, what left the midfielders? Yeah, you are going to struggle.
Does sound quite cheap, doesn't it, actually? So a little look.
Norgard, 5.6 million.
Oh, I do like a bit of Norgard. He's a bit of a Fanteam favourite, isn't he, to be fair, but difficult fixture, right? What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, you're hoping, obviously, that Brentford upset Chelsea. I mean, if you're going cheap, Norwich.
Against Brighton, yeah, it's not a bad shout.
Brighton I think Webster's been ruled out again. But I mean, defensively,
They are the
you
worst,
probably
right?
won't go there. But midfielders, I mean, I haven't really, to be honest, I haven't really looked too much into it, but I don't know even who's starting. Norman was quite good earlier in the season for this price, but yeah, he doesn't look like it. No. He's played 45 and 46 minutes the last couple, but
I think the trouble I'm going to have, I think you're right, I'm going to struggle here. The trouble I'm going to have is maybe I'll find one, but I'm not going to find two, am I? So I really probably need to downgrade one of my
unless
good
you get
guys.
double Norwich defence, which
I don't mind the sound of that. Honestly, don't mind that.
I think you've got, because you've got two Man City midfielders, haven't you?
Yes.
I think that would be even if you went down to like a Son or a Bruno, you're still going to you're going to save what, £2 million maybe, £1.5 million. So you're then looking at what, 13.5, 14 million for two, which is a bit more.
Yeah.
Brings a few more. Like I think the Leicester guys are like 7.3 if you want to go there, midfielders, or Southampton at Leeds. I don't know what prices they're at. Obviously, Leeds are a bit leaky. And they're quite expensive, really. Ward-Prowse is like 9.7 million.
Let me have a look at Norwich and Brighton, because I don't mind that fixture for like a 0-0, you know? And I think I called this earlier on in the season when it was me and you, Jack. I think it was a Norwich-Brighton game, which I called 0-0, or it was a similar game.
It was a similar game. You did call it, and you was all in on putting Tim Krul in goal, and I was dead against it. And he got the kick.
That's right. So look,
got an interesting one, maybe. West Ham Everton. Obviously, West Ham are the favourites. Everton are rubbish.
Yeah.
But Decore, he's 7.4, and he's been injured a bit, but he's played the last four, played 90 in all four. So again, you're looking at 3 points.
And West Ham have been shocking, haven't they, defensively as well lately? I
mean, they're missing Bowen still, I think, aren't they? I don't think he's due back from what I know. But earlier in the season, the first 8 games, I mean, Decore was scoring 7.3, 5.4, 4.7, 9.7. He was doing really well. I think I brought him in somewhere. I can't remember which. I brought him into some game, might be Sky, but I don't think he's too bad if you're going for someone from Everton. But 7.4 again, you can get Harvey Barnes or Maddison against Man U.
Yeah, I'd prefer one of the Leicester assets. I don't trust Everton at all.
No. You see who else is on that sort of 7.4. St. Maximan, but
Tim Krul is
not
6
guaranteed
million
to play.
I'll tell you who scored a goal for West Ham this weekend. You can book it now. Thomas Souček.
You reckon?
With a header. I'm telling you.
Against Everton. Frank Lampard set pieces.
Yep.
I'm going to go Tim Krul in goal and Brandon Williams. That's a combined 11.3 million.
This is with a Norwich team that I don't know when if they've even kept a clean sheet.
Yes,
I know they did keep a clean sheet away at Watford. They won 3-0. So I mean, I can't say too much. So I've got a Norwich player in my lineup, but I've not gone brave enough for a defensive option.
They've had a few clean sheets, I'm sure. Look that one up for me, Jack. That clean sheet from earlier on in the season. I'm sure it was Brighton.
We'll have a look over the season how many clean sheets Norwich have kept. I'd say you might get 3 if you're lucky.
I'm gonna get talked out of this, aren't I? Let's have a look. How much did Brighton?
It shouldn't take a lot to talk you out of it. Clean sheets.
Norwich have kept 4.
4, yeah. I stand corrected.
They've had 4.
Amazingly, only Watford and Leeds have kept less.
Watford and Leeds.
They've let in 63 goals though. Norwich, that is.
How about if I just go Tim Krul and then I'm not too exposed then, and he could always just get a load of save points, right?
Mm.
And then I'm not totally backing out of my idea. And I don't hate myself too much if it goes right. That then leaves me with 13.5 for 2 positions, which is better, right? So what's that divided by 2? I'm not very good at maths. Just under 7.
6.7. 6.7, yeah.
Which is doable, surely.
Just, I don't know really know. What games haven't you got any coverage from in terms of defensively, if you thought anyone?
And this as well, I've got the most expensive Man City midfielders, right? I just picked the most expensive ones to cover myself. So I got Sterling and Mahrez. Could easily bring it down to De Bruyne and Foden, for example. But then obviously, again, we don't really know. Don't know who's going to play, do we?
You've got nothing. Have you got anything? You've got Kane, haven't you?
Kane,
nothing else from that game.
No, just Kane. So I could Doherty could be a good shout there.
I bet he's expensive.
Is he?
9.3 is quite expensive.
I'm looking at more of a 6 million kind of budget, I think.
Let's have a look. Defensively. Who are we looking at? Leeds, Southampton.
Let's go back to Crystal Palace because I've got rid of my stack, haven't I? Who's the left back for Crystal Palace there? If Mitchell plays right back, who plays left back?
I think it's usually Mitchell left back and Joel Ward right back.
Oh, that's
I don't
right.
know if he's injured.
Fanteam have got Nathaniel Klein, Green.
Perhaps Ward's injured. Has Klein played recently? Let's have a look. Yeah, he's played. So Klein's played the last 5.
Oh, there we are. Put Klein in there.
Again,
Carl Walker-Peters, 6.3 million, Southampton.
It's not too bad.
Yeah,
against Leeds.
Off the back of his England. Was it his debut? I think he had midweek.
He scored, didn't he?
So, I don't know. Not too sure.
Yeah,
I didn't really watch it, to be honest.
I think in the first game, against Switzerland, was it?
Okay. It's difficult. Because what have you got in the minute defensively? You've got a Norwich, Man City.
Yeah, I'm switching it around a lot. At the moment, it's Krul, Cancelo, Mitchell and Cash. And I'm looking at getting maybe a second Villa because the prices on them are very good considering they're playing Wolves.
Yeah, you want to try and you don't want to get 4 different teams really.
No.
Because obviously you're then spreading yourself. You want to at least have one double up there.
Why is Luca Dean, why is he?
He was injured, wasn't he, before the international break?
He's injured, isn't
he? Yeah.
Although I think he went on
international duty
with France. Yeah, but
I'll stick Ashley Young in, but he's like a placeholder for Digne. It's going to be either or, whoever plays at left back. And it leaves me with 6.5 position left. And a team that I'm happy with.
Where do you need that for midfield?
Midfield or defence.
Okay.
How much are those Leicester boys again? A bit more.
Yeah, you can get Shackleton in for sure, but I mean, I'd be.
Brighton,
if it was me,
Perez.
I'd be thinking take down one of, because you've still got decent premium options. So if you were to go, you've got Chelsea. I don't really fancy Chelsea tackles at the price they are this week. They're like 13.5 million.
Yeah.
But if you looked at, let's have a look. You've got like Suns at 12.7, Bruno's at 13.1. What have you got? If you fancy the West Ham midfielder, they're all at about 11 million.
But who would that be a Man City downgrade, would it?
Yeah.
Not mad for that. Down to West Ham.
Just then would give you, because if you took out like Mahrez, for example, it's going to give you 20.8, so you could then get 10 millions. Just makes the squad a bit stronger.
Yeah.
I don't think your midfield options are that great at 6.5.
Maybe if I take Sterling out then and swap him with De Bruyne or with Foden.
Grealish is a lot cheaper, but obviously if Grealish doesn't start, then
safety
he's like 13.1.
Let's have a look at the Man City midfield. So in terms of safety net, it's Sterling, Mahrez, De Bruyne, Foden, Silva, Gundogan. So if Foden didn't start, I could go down to Silva, Gundogan, or Grealish. Quite happily, I'd pick any of those. And if Mahrez didn't start, I'd obviously quite happily go down to De Bruyne or the players I mentioned earlier. So that's not too bad. And that gives me 7 million now for my for my last player, which I don't mind. Hopefully, I don't mind. I mean, I'm not. If I can find a 7 million player, let's search the £7 million bracket. I could definitely get a good defender for 7 million, right? But is there a nice upside cheeky midfielder for that price?
Tielemans, 6.8.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, 6.8. Harvey Barnes is 7.3. So close.
And that's not a lot, really.
Where's Podence when you need him, eh? Where's Podence when you need him? Okay, Tielemans, yeah.
Will he even start though? He didn't start the last couple, or he's missed a couple recently.
Yeah,
He's just been benched randomly.
Yeah, I've heard he's been out of form or something, right?
I mean,
yeah, the options aren't great.
The Arsenal, but no, it's difficult this week. I think, yeah. I mean, are you set on Ronaldo and Kane?
Yeah, it's just the Ronaldo, the shots per 90 thing, the fact that Leicester are so bad in defence, the fact that Ndidi's out. And I think you don't go without Kane this week, like you said.
But would Man U at home, attacking-wise, do more than Man City away at Burnley?
But
you sort of think Burnley at home are likely to...
I think Man City would do more. Personally.
Just wondering if Burnley are going to dig in. Man City have all been globe-trotting, all their players. Got Champions League game midweek as well.
Yeah,
Burnley have obviously most of their team.
Yes. He'll play Pep Roulette, won't he, with the defence, definitely.
Yes,
definitely. But he can do too much though, can he? Because Diaz is out still.
So what? So you're you're thinking I should maybe do like a Mahrez down to a Bruno type of thing, is it?
Because that'll give you an extra 1.2, and you're then looking at 8.2 for a midfielder, and that brings you up into you could you're just short of Podence.
You could have Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, plenty of Maddison. You then got your Maddison. You probably don't want Maddison, but it's slim pickings.
It's just a drop off. I just think there's such a drop off from Man City attack down to Man United attack. Let me see if I can bring up this stats for you. Actually, I don't know if you're watching. Are you watching the screen?
Why don't you Saka? Why don't you drop down from?
I made this little spreadsheet the other day. Let me just try and share this with you guys now.
We're trying to find a stat that proves that Man U are going to be a better option than Man City.
Oh gosh, it's all happening. It's all happening. Where are we?
I would go with Saka.
There you go. Okay.
Get a massive saving.
I just want to show you this the drop off, which I'm worried about. So if you just bear with me a second. Add.
It's got 10.7 million. What's his score?
He had COVID, didn't he? But I think they said he's probably going to be all right. So
then you'll get the safety net anyway, even if he has.
Who's that? Odegaard or Smith Rowe or something like that?
Yeah, which is fine as well. So.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just resize this. So
I mean, you're saving for Morris. You're saving 4 million.
It's tough. I think it's tough to get because you've essentially got how many? You've got 3 City, a United, and a Spurs. So you've got 5 premiums.
Thank God Liverpool are not on the slate.
That's what when I talked about it earlier, I was like, well, you're definitely going to want Kane. You're probably going to want Salah. Ideally, maybe want to double up with Liverpool as well, like someone like Mane or Diaz or someone. But then I was like, oh no, perhaps they won't be on there because of the lunchtime kickoff, which, if it was, it'd be ridiculous. I think you would be looking at 5 or 6 premium and then just try and pad out the rest of the team with enablers, really.
Okay, so I brought it up here, Shaun, just the drop off, which I know you know this already because I know you know your stats and everything, but I found that it visualized it quite. The visualization on this was quite stark. So I've got here is non-penalty expected goals from game week 28 and game week 30, right? Because I forgot to put game week 29 in. And on the right, you can see the trend. So game week 28 to game week 30, right? But you can see then the stark difference between Liverpool at the top. See if I can highlight that for you. Are you with me? Liverpool at the top in terms of expected goals. Then Man City, 2.12. And then the huge drop off to the likes of Spurs and Man United, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which is what I mean by when you say about the Man City against Burnley versus United against Leicester. This is what came into my head. This huge gap between the two.
Is that just from the individual games?
This is a cumulative from the whole season, but how it's changed from game week 28 to game week 30, right?
Got you.
Yeah. Because I thought it'd be cool if I remembered to track this each week. It would give you like a trend of how. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Be pretty cool. So, but it's only got 2 weeks in it so far. But like I said, it shows quite a stark difference between the best and the rest. You know what I mean?
But then if you look at non-penalty XG since the last international break, per appearance, Man City 2.26, United 1.99. It's not that much.
Oh, so
much lower.
Yeah, that's quite good. 1.99. And what was Man City?
City aren't even 2.26. Liverpool are 2.48, and third is Southampton, 2.13.
So this figure here on the graph, let me just show you the graph again. 1.59. Spurs are the third highest here with 1.59. And then it goes up to Man City 2.12. And what
Man U actually ahead of Spurs.
Yeah.
So Man U with 1.99 over since game week 24.
So that shows quite an improvement.
Yeah. They're slightly underperforming as well. But yeah, surprised Southampton are so high actually.
Where's Southampton? 1.27.
And they have the most headed attempts as well per 90. 4.29, which is massively higher than anyone else. 3.62 next from Newcastle. Chris Wood.
And Newcastle in the monster this week. Let's have a look.
Yeah, they're at Spurs.
The Spurs.
Oh yeah. Spurs aren't a bad defence. I got those figures as well for XGC. So you can see Man City here at the bottom. I got that.
Oh, I've just realised I've picked a player from the team with the worst non-penalty XG since game week 24.
That would be. Let me quickly check his numbers. Norwich. Interesting.
Not great. Brentford are 1.03, but it goes up to 1.36 when you add in penalties, which you've got to factor in for Tony really, because he scored 2 against Norwich, didn't he? 2 penalties, I think.
Yeah, didn't he score a hat-trick? Didn't he score 3 penalties, or was it a hat-trick with 2 of them were penalties?
I think he scored a hat-trick and 2 of them were penalties. Yeah. I tell you what price is I tell you what, this could be an interest. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, I might have found a cheap midfielder for you. Oh. Although you've got Tony already. Christian Eriksen.
Oh, how much is he?
5.4.
Ooh.
That is spicy.
I'm annoyed because I brought him in for 30 in FPL and then he got bloody COVID the day before. But scored against Burnley. No, sorry, assisted against Burnley. 7.7. And then he got 2.3 against Norwich and just 1 against Newcastle, but he'd come on as a sub.
So
I say he scored twice for the international break.
I could go Eriksen instead of Tony, 5.4, and that gives me 8 million for the other position. Because having 2 was probably too much.
Yeah, that'd be a striker or a midfielder, I suppose, or a defender. I suppose 8 million.
Yeah, it could be anyone in my formation.
Yeah, for 8 million. What strikers for 8 million? Ooh, Richarlison.
Oh, but it's not a double game week. I've got my double game week eyes on from the FPL. Who do they play again? West
Ham. Not the worst. Stuart Armstrong, Southampton vs Leeds.
Oh, you love Stuart Armstrong. What is it with you and Stuart Armstrong?
I'm more Adam Armstrong at the start of the season, but only because he was ex-Blackburn. But that's long gone now. I do fancy Decore, you know.
What do
I
you
might
think?
even bring him into this team that I've got. Oh, I might have a little play around with my team now.
What do you think, Jack? Leicester, Harvey Barnes I could get for 8 million, right?
Yeah, you could.
Or maybe even Madison.
Yeah, definitely. I think both are underrated.
Well,
Seven
if you put Madison in, then the safety net's Barnes anyway, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's genius.
But-
7.6 million.
Just put Madison in then.
I think that's my team. Kane and Ronaldo up front. Madison, Ericsson, Foden and Mahrez in midfield. Young, Cash, Mitchell, Cancelo in defence. And Timothy Krul in goal.
I mean, the only thing you could potentially change on that is you could upgrade Krul to Pickford.
Oh
I
no,
don't know if that's
I'd rather keep crawling.
Yeah, I don't know if that's an upgrade, to be honest. They're playing West Ham.
Yeah, I'd rather keep crawling.
Yeah, I don't think
or you
there's
can
much
go
in it.
6. If you fancied going, it's not on that. I was going to say you could upgrade Mitchell, but there's not a huge amount. You have 6.6 when you. There's not a huge amount you could walk Peters, but I think Leeds will probably score, won't they? So the thing about Leeds, I think Leeds will stay up just because they might concede, but they always look like scoring. So there's a lot of teams down there that just don't do it.
I fancy Everton's go.
Yeah,
Go down. Yeah.
I mean, it's always the same. It's team. If you can score goals down the bottom, you've always got a chance, haven't you? Where they are struggling. If they can get Calvert-Lewin back, that'd be a big plus. But I think Leeds always look like scoring. They've got Phillips back as well. I think that's going to be enough. They've got some. They haven't really got that many difficult games. I think I looked the other day. But Everton, I think Everton have got an absolutely.
Yeah, they've got a horrible running.
They've still got to play Liverpool, Chelsea, United, Arsenal. They've got 11 games left, so they've got a couple in hand. But they've got big games against Burnley.
So Burnley have got 2 games, the same amount of games. So I fancy Burnley out of them all to be the one that stays up.
I mean, they've got City this Saturday, haven't they? But then they've got Everton, Norwich, West Ham, Southampton, Wolves, Watford, Villa, Tottenham, Newcastle. So they're not. I mean, they're no big games, are they? Like Everton.
Mm-hmm.
I think Watford. Watford might be all right as well because they've got Liverpool again, but then they've got They've got Man City in a few weeks as well, but then they've got 3 home games: Leeds, Brentford, and Burnley. I mean, that's.
Well, they've got to win all 3.
Yeah, but the only thing with that is they are horrendous at home. But if you have 3.
And they've played 2 more games than Burnley.
Yeah. Who else? Oh, it's Norwich down there, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. Norwich are gone.
They just don't look like scoring.
No.
But yeah.
So I got my season-long team up now. We've done all right since the wild card, lads. Game week 29, I think I played it for. 118 points in that week. A rank of 51, I think. I'm reading that right.
51?
Yeah, for the game week, I think that's what that means.
6,000.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Fucking sick, man. Excuse my language. So that was straight off the wild card. So obviously, like, I'm a genius. Sanchez, Trent, Robertson, Doherty, Salah, Saka, Martinelli, Gordon, Kulusevski, Kane, and Lacazette. And then on the bench, Raya, Tony, Cresswell, and Saiss. Game week 30. 47 points, so straight back down to earth with a bang. A rank of 10,438 with all the same players basically, but 4 of them on the bench didn't play because it was a blank game week, and 1 of my starting lineup didn't play because it was a blank game week as well. I decided to keep Gordon instead of doing the Gordon to Norgard thing. I don't know if you remember, we spoke about that.
Yeah.
But I figured out that Gordon's having 2 matches this week, right? So it didn't really make much of a difference.
I had a good game week 30 on my season long.
What happened?
I was ranked 422nd. I had 67.6 points.
Oh, that's good. And that was the blank game week as well.
Yeah, last week.
Well done, mate. What about 31? Oh, that's the next one, isn't it? Oh, what am I talking about?
Yeah, 31 was the next one. 29 wasn't as good. I was, quite high there.
Where are you sat now, Rhys? I'm all right. I think you're 8-6-1-6. I thought I found your team, I think.
861. How do you do that? 8616. Yeah.
You search it on you when you know the username. You search anyone on there.
8616, which I've been floundering around 10k for like ever. So it's pumped me up a little bit that good week.
You're only 40 points off top 5k, which pays.
Which I'm happy with, right? It's obviously my first season in Fanteam, so that piece of information there, I didn't even know that. I was trying to look through the leaderboard the other day to find out where that thing was. It's 5k, yeah.
The best thing you can do is either you can change the number at the top of the link on the dashboard, or FF Stuff has got a really good sort of little box that tells you basically rank 1, 10, 100, 500, 1,000, 5,000, what points that position's got. So it's quite handy to sort of see where you are. But yeah, so you're only 40 points off the.
I really wish with my season long, I forgot it for 3 weeks basically at the start of the season. I was very busy, so I just totally forgot to do it, and I really wish I didn't, because I've absolutely smashed it since I've been doing it. But I was so off the pace anyway. It was too little, too late. But my second chance is going okay. So we're getting. I actually prefer the second chance personally. I like the safety net aspect myself.
Yeah. But yeah, it'd be interesting now. Obviously, with all the doubles coming up, it's trying to navigate your way through, and I don't think there'll be many blanks now, will there? I think there'll be maybe a couple with the semi-finals.
Yeah, there's only one double game week this week, isn't there? And there were 2 teams, Everton and Burnley.
Yeah. Then next week you've got none, I don't think. But then the week after you've got, I think 7 have got a double.
Yeah. And there's a couple of blanks in there as well, like Leeds blank and stuff, I think.
Villa, Leeds, and Wolves all blank.
Yeah, I'm trying to get off my Wolves assets now.
Yeah, I mean in FPL I've got about, I think 8 or 9, but I've got 3 hits, which obviously you don't get in Fanteam. So yeah, if you've got any of those assets, you just have to bear in mind game week 33 where none of them play. But you've got Arsenal double, Brighton, although Brighton's double is horrendous. It's Tottenham and Man City away.
Leicester have
Burnley
got
double again. Yeah. Burnley have got 5 games in the next 3 weeks.
Nice.
Man City is 1 this week, obviously, and then Everton. But you've got Norwich the week after, and then West Ham and Southampton. So I think Pope may well be a popular move this week. I think I've still got Sarr in my main team, the one that's just inside the cash still. So, and I've got Pope. There you go. That's how long I've not looked at it. I've already got Pope in there. So,
nice.
I've got Schmeichel as my goalkeeper in the second chance game at the minute.
I like Schmeichel as a goalkeeper pick.
Now, yeah, and he's got 11 games left, hasn't he? Over the 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got people like Sarr, but West Ham, Wolves, and Leeds. I think, they've got 8 games left.
So they got that double. Leicester have got Leicester. Yeah, you got Newcastle and Everton in game week 33. So I'd say not a bad double to have Schmeichel as the goalkeeper in either.
Yeah,
but yeah, I've got 2. I've got Cody and Sice. I need to move off both of them.
I've got both of those as well. Yeah. And I think Rafinha's. He's all right. I think Leeds have got a couple of decent games, haven't they? So before the blank. Yeah. But yeah, as it stands, I've got
He's still there thinking my team out.
I've somehow got Jimenez in my team. I don't know how that's happened either. So at the minute, I've got 4 that aren't playing in that week.
On your season long?
No, in my second chance thing. At the minute, I've got Chris Wood up front.
It's not too bad though. After this week, they've got Wolves next week, and then Leicester, Crystal Palace in a double. That's
Did you see on the group chat the other day? I captained Chris Wood by accident in second chance. Really? I didn't even know how it happened.
Oh dear.
It must be when you do subs, and does it automatically flip your captain or something? I don't know. I must have just not been paying attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think if you've got any, it'd be interesting this week to. I think you either roll if you can. I don't even know.
That's what I'm doing. Obviously, I just set my team up now on screen. I'm going to roll my transfer. Sanchez, Cresswell, Robertson, Doherty, Salah captain, Saka, Martinelli, Gordon, Kulusevski, Kane, Lacazette. Team's fine. Tony first bench, then Sice and Cody. I think you're right. You roll in makes a lot of sense. And then I'll look at it next week when I got the fixtures in front of me, and we got maybe a little bit more of an idea. I think there are murmurings of an Aston Villa versus Burnley game going somewhere. I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, I think they've guaranteed. I think there's a lot of strong rumours that Arsenal Tottenham is going into 36. I think. So they're likely to double them. But yeah, I think the only one that's going to. I think they've announced all the games up to 35 now, haven't they? But there are rumours that the one that could slip in before that is Burnley Villa.
100%. Use my second chance team. Then we got where are we? I've gone up actually in this. So if we do the same as what we did, so game week
You were doing
29.
quite well in it last time.
Yeah, we knew. I think we had a couple of good weeks, right?
Yeah.
I set it up with like triple Newcastle and all this thing. I captained Chris Wood. I don't know what happened there, but so game week 29, 91 points. So that was a rank of 3,360. So okay, I guess. 78 points in game week 30 was a rank of 55.
Nice.
So that's another quite a good rank, right? So that's bumped me up a little bit. Again, nowhere near. I don't think the money. I'm on. What am I on? So game week 30.
What do they pay in here? 4,000 gets you 5.
Oh, so I'm 4,547. So not far.
So you're near. Yeah. I'm 2,285th in mine with a train. I've got 7 teams that are all the same, and I'm literally just gonna go nuts with them. Probably from about game week 35, I think, and just start doing weird things with them, changing them all up, and then But at the minute, they're all in the cash.
I think I need to make some transfers on mine. I got Ramsdale in goal, so I think he needs to go. I got 1 transfer. So
have you got the wild card still for that?
No, this is a wild carded team. Wild carded about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yeah.
Do you know what I've been doing on it? For the last couple of weeks, I've been, because I think I wild carded in game week. It tells you anyway, doesn't it? So it was game week 28 has been our wild carded my second chance. So the last couple of weeks, I've just been taking like a -4 hit. I've just been putting another player in. I just don't care. I just take the hit. I think -8 is probably my limit on a hit. So I'd probably get 3 players, use a free transfer, and then get 2 other players in. But that would be my limit with a hit. I don't want to go too much with that. But I think you're quite comfortable in taking a -4 on that game mode.
Depends who you bring in, doesn't it? Because if you've got like some of the blanks, so like the prime example would be in, I think I can't remember, an Arsenal doubled 28 or 29, I think it was. But if you've got players that know are going to blank, so they're going to play 1 game against 3 of someone else, you take a -4 to take them out. As long as that person plays all 3 games, you've made that up in appearance points. Yeah. So the hit's gone already. It's just then if you're going to keep them longer term as well, like say if you pick players that have got 10, 11 games left now for a hit, it should repay it over the rest of the season, shouldn't it?
Yeah, and I've been going a little bit different with my captain in that. So I captained Saka last week or the week before when he scored.
Oh, nice, mate.
Yeah, it worked out but everyone was captaining like Son and Kane, I think, that week. So I mean, Kane was fine anyway. He scored 2 goals, didn't he? But I'm trying to be a little bit different with the captain, seeing it, and just trying not to go with the obvious. So I have got Salah in this team, so I'm not going to captain Salah, which is, I know it's dangerous. They've got Watford this week, and he's probably going to be a little bit annoyed after his penalty miss for Egypt that has cost him a World Cup place. So
But you're not going to.
No, I won't captain him. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I think I want to roll the transfer 1 more week and then get the Wolves boys out next week potentially, and then see where I go from there with it. But I've got Kane and Son in this team as well. So
what do you think I do, Jack? I'm looking at my team here now. I got Ramsdale who doesn't play potentially because of the injury.
Don't have to worry about that though, because you'll get Leno.
Oh, of course.
You get.
I had that last week. Yeah.
What am I even worried about?
Week. I had in my main team. I had 3 auto subs. I had Kilman didn't start, so I got Johnny in who scored, and that's the one with triple Wolves. So I was really hoping at 2-0 up they were going to keep a clean sheet because it would have been quids in. Then I had Rafinha didn't start, and Dan James came in, and the same. I've got Bowen in that team, but I haven't used the transfer because I'm like, well, I'm happy enough getting a West Ham midfielder, and that week I got Souček came in. The only thing I don't know about that though, the season long, is I've just looked at the prices and I got Souček in for Bowen. Perhaps they're closest in price on the season long. I don't know. I haven't looked. It's got the price, and when on the auto subs, it's got the price, but I think that's probably the price from the monster because it's got Bowen at 11.8, and obviously in the season long, Bowen's not that. He's like 7 million, isn't he? So I'm guessing that's just
West Ham's in the second chance. Bowen 7 million and Souček 6 million. So it's not far off.
I thought there'd been someone in between, but perhaps those players didn't start. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't know what came over me. So Ramsdale goes on to Leno. Happy days. Don't have to worry about that. I'll probably roll my transfer then, because even if Albrighton, and don't ask me why I've got Albrighton, but even if Albrighton doesn't play, that'll go down to someone, right? Let's have a little look. Let's double check that actually, because if Ndidi's out.
The only thing I was thinking this week is using my transfer and getting someone from Burnley in, but I mean they're playing Man City, so
That's it. I mean, it's difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I've got Sarr in one team, I might go Sarr to Pope because the next 3 weeks, Wolves play twice. I mean, they're against Villa and Newcastle, so they're not bad games. And I know Burnley got Man City, but Burnley got 5 games in those 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So even for a hit, you're going to get 10 points for appearances if he plays all of them. And if he doesn't, you get Hennessy or whoever the sub is for Pope. Whereas with Sarr, you're going to get 4. So you're getting 6 points extra in appearances on its own. So I might even do that I probably won't do it with a defender because there's no massive upside, I don't think, Burnley defenders. But Pope obviously does get a lot of save points. But it's interesting over a sort of 3-week period to see who's got the most games to then say, I think Everton will be the same. I know Everton have only got 1 double this week, but still, if you've got players that have only got 2 games, say Villa, Wolves, or who's the other one that blanks? Leeds. If you've got those, I took them out. Although I think they've all got relatively okay fixtures, haven't they? Wolves and Villa play each other this week, and Leeds have got Southampton. So maybe not this week, unless you're going for a Burnley or an Everton.
That's what I'm thinking about doing, exactly what you're saying now, maybe getting a Burnley defender in, like Charlie Taylor or Connor Roberts for Ait-Nouri at Wolves, for exactly the reasons that you're saying.
Yeah, but I think the thing, you could easily do it if you've got 4, 5 Wolves, Villa or Leeds players in game week 33, that'll be. They're not going to play and you're not going to get an auto sub. But if you went to people that double in that week, so any of those 7 teams, you're going to straight away get the hit's going to be covered from the 4 points, isn't it? The 4-point hit can be covered from the appearances if they play both games, and especially if they've got a decent couple of games and games after that are good as well. It's probably worth it.
You want to avoid the teams that blank, don't you? Like the plague, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, this week I think I had like Salah and Cancelo blank, but you're not bothered about getting those out because like with this week they've got Watford and Burnley, so
they'll make it up afterwards.
To get them back. Yeah, but if you've got players that, like Leeds, for example, they've got Southampton, Watford, then a blank, and then they've got Crystal Palace, Man City, Chelsea. They've only got 6 games after game week 33, but there could be other teams that have got, like Leicester, for example. Leicester have got 9 left, 8 left at the start of game week 33, whereas Leeds might only have 5 or 6. So you sort of have to look at quantity of fixtures as well as quality, I think.
Interesting.
It's a good thing about that team, isn't it? Like, say, as long as you've got the most expensive goalkeeper in a team, you're not really too bothered if they don't play because you've got the safety net of a Leno or whoever to come in afterwards.
So what are you thinking, Jack? Roll the transfer season long? Is that what you're doing?
Season long or second chance?
Oh, sorry, second chance, yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I think I'm just going to roll it. I'm not worried about that double game. Neither of them 2 teams excite me. Outside, the only person I'd want to bring in is Pope, but I don't really want to get. I've got Schmeichel as my goalkeeper, so I don't really want to pivot away from him. I'm not fussed about it. I think I'm going to roll it this week, and then I was going to move off the Wolves boys next week, but they got Newcastle, so I'm probably going to keep them around for another week and then see what happens. I might even roll the transfer next week and have 3 transfers going into game week 33.
Like I said, if you've got unless you're going to an Everton or a Burnley player, you're not gaining anything by going off Wolves in the next 2 games. They've got 2 good games.
Yeah.
And no one's got 3 apart from those 2 teams we mentioned. Whereas in game week 33, it's the case they've got none. You've got 7, they've got 2. And because you've got no restriction on, you can move a defender to a striker. Like Rhys, you could go Ait-Nouri to, I don't know, a striker that's got a decent double. I don't know who that'd be.
Or something for argument's sake.
Chris Wood's got Leicester and Crystal Palace at home. So you could then go there, and that's quite good in the fact that you can flick around in terms of structure as well.
It's interesting. I like what you said, Jack, about you can roll obviously more than 1, 2, 3 transfers, potentially roll it up until game week 33, so that you've got as many free transfers as you need to maybe take out all your blankies and bring doubles in at the same time. Like looking at my team here, I've got 2 Wolves and where did Regulon come from? I thought I had 2 Wolves and a Liverpool, so that's 3. So if I rolled all the way up to 33, I could deal with it all in one go, if that makes sense.
It's essentially what, well, Shaun knows. Shaun plays the season on golf contest. It's essentially what a lot of people are doing within that. Basically, just rolling transfers, because you only get 1 wild card in that as well. So just rolling transfers and trying to basically make another wild card and use it at the right moment. And I think if you can roll 3 transfers to game week 33 now in the second chance game, I think you're in good stead.
I think I agree with you, actually. I think that's probably what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 2. At the minute, I've got potentially 3 pay on and out of my best second chance team. I've got Ramsdale, but he's got a safety net of Leno. I've got Trent, who doesn't start. I get Robertson, so that's at home to Watford again. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I've got Richarlison up top. So I've got Calvert-Lewin up top. So if he doesn't start, different with him because there's 2 games, so he only has to start 1 game, and you get him whatever. Whereas if he doesn't start either, Richarlison comes in again. That's a decent enough thing. I've got 2 free transfers at the minute in that already, so just roll them again, and then by the time game week 33 comes around, I've got 4 transfers, and I've got 2 Aston Villa players. That's all I've got the blank, so I then can properly have and hopefully by that point we might know further on in the season what the fixtures look like as well to the end of the season, which will help.
I think there's so much benefits, to roll in. I think I'm fully behind that strategy, lads. Fully behind it.
It might have been different if there was a better double game week this week, but there's not. It's Burnley and Everton, and both of them have got hard fixtures in the first game anyway. So
it's kind of made our mind up for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
The one that really interests me later in the season is going to be Diaz at Liverpool, because he's like 5.6 million. He's just so cheap. But the problem with him is you will get a safety net because you've got people like Thiago, Henderson, Fabinho underneath him. But obviously they're not as exciting if he doesn't start. And there's obviously a lot of competition with Salah, Mane, Jota and Firmino. But he's just so cheap.
5.6, in the second chance. That's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's all the way down by like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Thiago, Harvey Elliott, 5.5. Good value, that is. Especially, obviously, if he keeps his place and does what he's been doing. That's an interesting one, Shaun. I like that. Is he the same price in the season long, or similar?
Yeah, I think they're the same prices in both. So they sort of... The only thing with him is, you would get... I think they do it on form. So, like in this example, you've got, say, Chamberlain's the same price. So if, for example, you went for Jota and he didn't start, 2 players underneath him as a safety net, I think it goes on the higher form. So obviously in this instance, Diaz is on more form, but that is just something to bear in mind. I've done it with Foster, I think, in the second chance. I've had Foster before. Or I've had someone where he was the most expensive. I think it was a keeper. He was most expensive, but he was only a little bit more than the backup keeper. Then he went injured, and then Backman's price... I don't think it was Foster and Backman, but there's that. So you've got to be aware that just because you've got a safety net at the moment. So if Ramsdale, for example, is out longer term, at the minute Leno's 5.0. But if Ramsdale goes down to 5.1 and then it goes up to 5.2, and you still left Ramsdale in there, you obviously will get no safety net because it's only the cheaper price. That's one to bear in mind, maybe for those that are slightly similar in price. I would say.
Definitely. Let's have a little look at Ramsdale and Leno now, actually, while we're here.
I think there's a bit of a buffer there at the minute with them, but...
Second chance game. I think we'll leave it there, lads. Any of you got anything coming up you'd like to tell the lovely people about before we go?
It's the Masters next week, so yeah, really excited for that.
So how's the golf going, Jack, in general?
Yeah, it's good. I've actually had a couple of weeks off from playing daily golf just because I lost my bank card, which is never helpful. So it's never helpful. But what it has allowed me to do is concentrate on my season-long teams, and I've basically doubled up teams in that. So I've now got 4 teams in the cash on it. One is, I've just looked actually, it was 13th place. I did have it up to 5th place last week, but a couple of guys missed a cut, which was annoying. But yeah, the golf's going well. Season game is going very well.
Awesome. I'll have to get involved in that. Are
Yeah.
you doing the golf, Sean?
I am. I'm not doing quite as well. I've only got one. Jack's got a sort of, it's not a private contest. He had it on Twitter before, but there's 25 of us in that.
Yeah.
I'm mid-table in that. But this season long, I'm about 5, 6, 8 in a minute, which isn't great. But I've still got my wild card in hand, so I'm hoping a few weeks down the line that could stand me in good stead. I think I just started the season. I started trying to cover myself too much. I'd say the first couple of tournaments, which has cost me, but hopefully next couple of weeks we'll catch up a bit.
Have got a tracker on the Fanteam blog. Just search tracker on there. If you are playing the season on golf, and it gives you the field.
Very useful.
Because golf is, I mean, a lot of the fields won't get announced till like the Friday before the event. But you get.
Which is really helpful.
Yeah, it's quite a helpful tool, isn't it?
Yeah, the tracker is. You think they'd announce the next week on the Wednesday? It'd be a bit more helpful for the old
it would,
the transfers, but yeah.
You do get.
So you have to make them blind or almost then.
Well, no. So what we have been doing is just been putting the players that have played that particular tournament in 2020 and 2021, so they get highlighted in red. Obviously, if they're committed to the tournament, there's some tournaments down the line where players we're getting more information now than what we did have about 3 weeks ago. So we're getting 5 or 6 players committing, and then before that Friday deadline. So we're getting a little bit more now. It's becoming easier to plan, isn't it, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I really like the season-long contest across all the different sports that I do next season, because I've got no like NBA. Don't get me started on. I think the winning team at that minute's got something like 30,000 points, isn't it, or something like that. It's just so volatile. But yeah, like stuff like the golf and the NFL and stuff. It's good because it keeps you interested each week. For spread over the season, it's actually not that much at all, is it? So it is. Yeah. It's definitely really good. But yeah, the golf's going well at the minute.
Happy days. Right, we'll leave it there, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you hopefully next week as well. Ciao for now.
See you later.